Hi, I'm Dilip Nair. I am a Senior Director with Allied Solutions, responsible for the customer service delivery for Allied out of Canada. I think one of my early lessons was, as I spoke about before, while I was getting over my the acute stuttering issue that I had, was to confront your fears, and I can't take credit for doing it because I didn't know where it came from. I think I was probably fed up of being that version of myself. So that was one of the lessons. But more importantly, as I progressed through my career, I've realized that, and a lesson that stayed with me is to not try very hard to fit in. I think you lose a lot of your authenticity. You compromise on your style. You compromise on who you are, and you miss that opportunity of being able to connect with someone at a very personal level if you're trying very hard to fit in. So a lesson that stayed with me was, don't try hard to fit in. Embrace your authenticity. In fact, observe it closely and develop it. I wish I knew that when I was young, that I should develop my authenticity, and probably would have spent less time fitting in.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Sedlacek, and I'm the Director of Operations here at Contact Point 360. Keep emotions in check is a big one. I am a very emotional, in nature, and I think that I've learned along the way that you really need to make sure that you understand what it is that your fellow workmate is saying before you pass any judgment as well. Those two are very important to me, and I've really felt that that is a great lesson learned for anybody, is to never judge anyone as well.
Hi, my name is Nigel Weiser. I'm the Director of Channel Management, Digital and Contact Management with CIBC. So I think back to a story where, again, it was early in my career, but it was such a fundamental lesson that stuck with me. I was with the first organization I was with out of university. I was highly dedicated to, and I was working very hard for them. And it's not to say I wasn't recognized. I think things were going well. I was having my hands contributing to lots of areas. I felt like I was developing, maybe not quickly enough, but I was developing. But over time I began to realize that everything I was putting into it, I maybe wasn't necessarily getting back out in terms of the recognition, or, as I mentioned, the growth maybe wasn't at quite the pace. And what ended up happening was an opportunity came along that was completely out of my comfort zone. Wasn't the same space as the organization I was with, wasn't the same skill set really at all. The only things I was bringing with me were my customer service and my communication skills. And honestly, even though I was feeling that dissuaded with my current organization, what kept me there and what kept me kind of thinking and chewing through this decision was that I was balancing the comfort and security that I had with my current role versus kind of moving out into the wild blue yonder of what could happen. And it took me 3 weeks to make that decision. One of the longest, hardest decisions besides that university one that I've ever had to deal with. But again, they've stuck with me so hard. And ultimately I did make the choice to leave, and I'm not saying that's the choice I'm telling everyone to make. What I'm more talking to is the fact that I was presented this opportunity where I could push myself. And I could push myself in a way that I'd never had an opportunity to try before. And it was scary. And it was obviously I'd learned the lessons of hard work pays off and those pieces, but what happens when you're working in a place that you don't know anything about? And what I took from that, obviously, things have worked out. I'm very happy with the way my career has gone ever since. And it's funny, I ended up coming back almost full circle in terms of the organization and the type that it was I started with. I'm now again with that type of organization, but the skills I learned, the unique traits that I learned in that other experience that I've been able to bring back with me, you almost don't realize how much you can learn by putting yourself out there and extending yourself to different, more uncomfortable areas. So that would be one of the bigger lessons I've learned, is put yourself out there. Help anybody that you can around you, because ultimately not only are you building great relationships, you're contributing to the ultimate goal that your team is, but you're learning something. And that becomes another skill set and something else that you can take with you and continue to build on as you move along.